And here we go, we're live. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to a new edition of our Google Expert Hangouts. This time, as you can see right behind me, we're talking Women's Champions League. And why are we talking Women's Champions League? Because it's just 2 days to go until the MVM EHF Final4 throws off here in Budapest. I'm very pleased to welcome our row of experts. Tom Brennan is still on Ireland, but he'll join us here in Budapest tomorrow. Hi, Tom.
Hello, Thomas. Hi, boys. How are you?
Joining us from Denmark, as we know him, Peter Bruun, expert for all Scandinavian teams and obviously for Larvik here.
Hi, Peter. Budapest, good evening, Europe. Good evening, world.
Peter's been given the task to pronounce all Norwegian names correctly, so that Tom knows them once he commentates on Saturday. Already in Budapest, our journalist for the event, Nemanja. Hi, Nemanja.
Hi, everyone.
And the premiere, and I can actually see him twice at his premiere. Now he appeared. Now he disappeared. So,
hello.
Bruun and David Bregazzi, second EHF TV commentator. Here, alongside Tom, will be commentating the matches. Hi, David. How are you?
Hello. Fine. I hope everybody's well. They're better than my computer. The internet connection.
Okay, a bit of a delay, and we hope the technical problems we have with David will sort themselves out as we speak. Well, let's get straight into this. Obviously, this is just a 2-day event. We've got the semi-finals, we've got the finals, so we go straight into the first one. Larvik meet Dynamo, the 2011 champions meet. Yeah, meet whom? Meet the team that no one really expected to be there, or what do you think, Tom?
Well, I mean, they're there. So whether anybody expected them or not is irrelevant, Thomas. Has anybody heard of them? Probably not. Dynamo, we would have called them in the old days. Dynamo Sonara, you know, it gives a little bit of you know what. But you know they're there on merit, Thomas, and they deserve it. I mean, the other 3 names, all right, Vardar in the last couple of years have become a big name. Budućnost, of course, a big name, and Larvik, well, I mean, how far back does their tradition go? You can ask Peter Bruun. But by all accounts, looking back over the years, Dynamo Sinara or Volgograd, or whatever you want to call them, have been knocking around the Champions League, so they have pedigree. Maybe not pedigree at this level, but they're a damn good team.
What's the word in Norway, Peter? Is that a game they're afraid of, and an opponent they take into account, or is it something they just have to get rid of on the way to the final?
That depends. If you ask the media and specifically the TV stations in Norway, it's been more or less been mentioned or considered as a piece of cake for Larvik. But Larvik themselves express great respect for Dynamo. It would, of course, also be strange if you didn't express respect for an opponent in the Champions League final. But they definitely do. They have, of course, noticed what Dynamo has achieved over this Champions League campaign. Actually, speaking of Dynamo at all at this event is a bit humiliating for most of us so-called experts. As I remember in our previous Hangouts, none of us in the panels of the 2 previous Hangouts saw Dynamo going to the Final Four. So it's at least a reminder to us not to underestimate them, and I'm definitely sure that Larvik will not underestimate them either. Larvik got a bit of a warning signal, a bit of a wake-up call in a playoff match in Norway recently, as they lost by 6 goals in the first leg of the semi-final in the playoff against Vipers Kristiansand. So maybe that has also been a kind of wake-up call to them and a reminder not to underestimate any team. So I'm sure we will see an absolutely motivated and very, very hungry and keen Larvik team against Dynamo.
Obviously, for all fans watching, I have to say I've forgotten this. Please send us your questions at EHFCL as our Twitter account. Also use this Q&A tool here on the Google Hangouts. Nemanja, how much fire do you think is burning in that Larvik team? I don't know whether you had a chance to read the blog of Gro Hammerseng, which has appeared in Euro Handball. One of the most honest texts I've read from a player, I have to say. Are they?
She really wants it, Thomas. She really wants it.
She really. She madly, badly wants it.
No, sorry, Nemanja. You know a player really badly wants it when they actually type it in bold. You know, I mean, as if it wasn't enough that she said it 10 times in the article, she put it in bold the last time to let us know that she really wants it. You know.
Well, I do have to underline that they really, really want it, and they made sure that all of us know it since the beginning of the season, because they are playing magnificently. Many people are considering them the sole favorites to win, but I don't think it's going to be that easy. Larvik is definitely going to show some of the handball that we've been missing from the previous iteration of the MVM EHF FINAL4, and especially because they have been so eager to show what they know at the Final Four. The same group of players, they did have some difficulties at the start, but that's all going to motivate them, because if anyone, Peter knows how what kind of mentality they possess as a team. They've got Nora Mork, who's playing magnificently. They've got Eden Hammerseng, who both of them are extremely useful for the team and pulling strings and playing wonderfully. The team is experienced. The team is very ready for the EHF Final Four, and I think that they're going to pose a very big threat, and I can already see them in the final. Speaking of that, you must never underestimate Dinamo Sinara, but more about it later.
Thomas, I think we have to be very careful about writing off Dinamo Sinara. They've got 3 backcourt players who are absolutely stunning in their ability to score goals. And where Larvik have really punished teams this season is the inability of backcourt players to score goals and the counterattack. Peter, you would know it. You see it week in, week out. Their ability to counterattack is unlike any other team in the Final Four this season. They are so quick, really, really quick. But with the 3 backcourt players that the Russians have, they may not get the chance to do that. And we haven't mentioned that the big Polish girl is going to be missing, and that is an absolute huge loss for that team. Huge loss.
I just want to get David involved. I don't know whether David is with us at the moment. David, can you hear us?
Yeah, I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think that's
okay.
What do you make of this Dynamo team? Would you write them off, or would you agree with Tom that they have a particular strength? Okay, now he's
gone.
He's gone. Okay, Peter, I give that question to you. Do you agree with what Thomas just said about the Dynamo's strength on the backcourt and the potential threat, or the loss for Larvik in terms of Voiters not being able to play?
I was just going to say that Dynamo will be exactly very, very dependent on their 3 backcourt players, because it's going to be so essential for them, so crucial for them, that the 3 backcourt players hit, because if not, then the match will soon be over, because then Larvik's dreaded counter-attack wave will be rolling against the Russian goal, just as Tom so precisely pointed out. So the key for Dynamo to at least stay in the match, keep the match close and tight until the end. That is their 3 backcourt players. If they start missing on the Norwegian defense, on the Larvik goalkeepers, then the match will may very soon be decided. Regarding the miss of Alina Voitsa as well, I'm not sure it will be that great, but of course, that big. Then again, I'm colored by the match in which she was injured, where she had, that was the away match against against Thüringen in the quarterfinal, where she had definitely not been playing well. So maybe I'm a little bit influenced by that, but anyway, I don't. With the depth there is in the Norwegians or in the Larvik squad, I don't see the loss of her as big as a bigger handicap as Tom may tend to see.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just get in there to say that?
That sounds much better, David. Yes, please get in there.
Yes, I was just going to say that Olaf Gustav Jekstad said that goalkeepers were the main reason that we're in the Final Four. So will be, I agree with you, the back three shooters from Russia against the goalkeeper, basically.
Yeah, I think Thomas, that it's interesting. This Kochetova, this girl is incredibly powerful and has an incredible range of shots. And what I find absolutely bizarre is they've no left-hander. And it doesn't seem to affect them at all. Dmitrieva, the young 19-year-old. I mean, my God, she's only 19. I actually can't believe it. She
played a brilliant interviewer. I mean, even though they went out at the preliminary round, but she was one of the stars in this team.
Yeah, she's frighteningly good. She's frighteningly good. And what they're able to do is. And this is where Larvik could have some problems against these three girls because they interplay. They're not set up in a kind of left back, center, right back. They change constantly, you know. And because they change constantly, they have to because they're all right-handed. They're all able to go inside, outside, you name it, and it could cause some problems for the Larvik team. And their line player El Khawi, the Tunisian girl, is actually very good as well. So, I mean, I wouldn't be of the opinion that Larvik are going to go there and wipe the floor with them. Now, it could happen because we saw what they did to Thüringer, but Thüringer looked like a bunch of teenagers playing against a bunch of women. That's what it seemed to me in the second game. They were so bad. But this Dynamo team, they just keep it simple. They do the same things. They do it really, really well, and the power they can generate. And remember, Toft, Peter, she's only about 1.76 meters or something like that. She's actually quite small. And Kochetova and Dmitrieva and all of them, they're able to ping this ball into the top corners. Now, if Toft is not able to get there, I think the defense is going to have to do a really big job. And I do think they'll miss Wojtas because I think Anya Hammersing-Aiden is a little bit of a loose cannon. I think that she could be getting a lot of 2 minutes in this game. She's just a little bit over the top sometimes in her defending, and I don't think she's as good in the attack as Wojtas. Wojtas.
Nemanja, can you imagine a scenario that would put Larvik under pressure? Maybe if they haven't built up a decisive lead by, I don't know, the 45th, 50th minute or anything? Could you?
I can definitely imagine this kind of scenario, and this is not going to be an easy game at all. Larvik is the favorite per se, but you know what? It's the Final Four. It all depends on which kind of frame of mind Dinamo enters the court, and whether they can translate what they did throughout the main round and throughout the knockout stages. One thing I have to say about Dinamo is when Dragan Agic said that he likes one team, he really means it, and it really means a lot because they're playing very dynamic defense. Their defense is what nobody mentioned, actually. It's one of the core reasons why they're here. Speaking of that, the thing about Dinamo also is, without indulging into commenting that they've beaten Vardar and all the giant killing that's going on with them, but they've also played excellently at home. All of their crucial wins came at home. Whether they're going to be able to translate that kind of performance to the neutral court remains to be seen, and I think that is going to be the key for tomorrow's game. If they do, if they manage to surpass the lack of their home crowd, I think that Larvik is going to have a run for their money.
Mm-hmm. We get the first few comments here on Twitter, and David, I'm just asking, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, indeed. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. So we got a comment here from one of our users, Straxspiller, and he says Dinamo only has a chance if they're able to slow down the pace of the match to snail speed, as he says. Would you agree that this is the chance that Dinamo has?
And how are they going to do that? How are they going to slow such a game down? How are they going to slow it down to snail's pace? They'll have to just stop them all the time, and then it could be that the referees, depending on the referees, whether they decide to start giving 2 minutes, and when you're down a player, then it's going to be even more difficult. Then it's just a defense case.
Yeah.
So you say it's basically an impossibility to slow down that Larvik wouldn't be able to play.
Yes. I don't think it's possible to do that constantly over 60 minutes to slow a team like Larvik down. When they get the ball, they start to steamroll through you. And if the only way to stop them is to then just hammer them, or and then depending on the referees, whether they start giving 2 minutes early enough in the game, then it's going to be even more difficult for Dynamo Sonara.
And Thomas, just on the point that Streg makes, and Peter, who obviously knows them far better than I do, if you watch all the games that Larvik play, they dictate the pace. You actually see the other teams playing faster than they might actually like to do. It's like a contagion. They
Exactly.
start quickly. The other team starts playing quickly, and you get this incredible situation where you get like 120 attacks in each team in the game, and the other team doesn't seem to be able to stop the idea that you can play slowly, and Larvik just never do it. By the way, let's be perfectly frank here. Larvik are the favourites. Everybody would agree with that, right? They're unbeaten this season, and forget about being unbeaten. What they've done is they've won some really tight games where they might have not have done it, and then of course they've been miles better than so many people. But the fact of the matter is, it's what Nemanja says: when you're in a semi-final situation, you never know. But I cannot see. But Dynamo Sonara also play quick handball, maybe not as quick as Larvik, but they play fast handball, and it's really effective. So I wouldn't be saying it's a clear Larvik victory, but I would be saying that Larvik definitely have a +3, +4 advantage going into this game.
Just a quick one. Speaking about this tie, there are very few unknowns tactically, because in line with what Tom said, Dynamo has to slow down what Larvik is doing, but it's a known recipe. You know how you play against the fast teams. Coaches know that, and you have to play your attack through. You have to think it through. You have to play it until the very end. Probably they will have to slow down, and they will have to play a low-scoring game. They will have to emulate what Budućnost is doing, and they will have to cope that wing players and the fast back line of Larvik doesn't see it through and doesn't respond to that the way Larvik wants. So tactically, there are no surprises. Larvik is going to play their fast-paced game, and Dynamo Sonara is going to do all they possibly can to slow them down and to milk the clock basically, and to try to make advantage of their attack.
There is one problem for Dynamo Sonara in the way that Larvik play. I have never seen a women's team that instinctively know where everybody is at any given stage in a fast break. It's in their counterattack. It's incredible. It's heads up looking all the time, and they seem to know the ball goes into space and a player runs on. Dynamo Sonara changed Kochetova in every defense, and that moment of change could be all that Larvik needs to tear them apart at any given stage. So my feeling is that Dynamo Sonara's back three, we go back to what we said at the beginning, they have to score. Because if they score, they get the chance to come back, they get the chance to regroup. But if they don't, and you've got Kochetova defending, then Dynamo Sonara have a huge problem, because she can't defend. Or she doesn't defend, and therefore she's not able to defend.
Yeah, they have to narrow down the lost balls as well, because when you start losing too many balls, you open the semi-counter opportunity for Larvik, and you know how deadly that can come.
And David, you know as well, the two wingers, Fanina and Gace, they're good, but they're not maybe as good as some of the other wingers that we have in the Final Four.
Correct. Yeah.
They have to do a great job in transitional defense. So we're gonna see.
Go on, Nemanja. Oh, we're going to see. All right, okay.
Yeah.
Is Thomas still alive there? I think we've lost our host. Peter, what do you think the Larvik advantage is going to be? I mean, all right, you take out the Polish, and you're saying you think that Anya can still do a good job. What do you think that their real advantage is besides the counterattack? What have they got going for them?
They have their pace, their speed, of course, and of course we can't mention Larvik without mentioning their counterattacks, because that is their deadly weapon. And due to their defense and their goalkeepers, they always get those counterattacks. And to go back to this thing about having to slow down the pace for Dynamo in order to cope, and